Welcome to Room at the Table, an opportunity for you to join me, Betsy Cerulo, and my guests for conversations about creating equitable and inclusive workplaces where leaders rise above mediocrity and our teams thrive. Pull up a chair. There's always room at the table. Welcome to another meaningful conversation on Room at the Table. I am Betsy Cerulo, your host, and welcome to my guest today, Todd Bavol, CEO of Integrity Staffing Solutions and founder of BE the Transformational Change. Today we're talking about how to empower all employees in a rapidly changing workforce. So pull up a chair, enjoy your favorite beverage, and let's get started. Welcome, Todd. It is so great to see you.
It's so great to see you as well. What is your favorite beverage this morning? What do you have? Your beverage of choice.
Today, I've already had my chai latte, and now I just have water.
Water. I've had my 2 cups of coffee. That's my allotment for the day. And I have my water that I'm drinking. I'm trying to get away from plastic, but, I know. I'm drinking my water.
And the weather, I'm sure for you, is really hot. So staying hydrated is so important. And
absolutely.
And keeping our workforce hydrated, right?
Everybody has to be hydrated. It's that time of the year.
Well, I have to tell you, I have admired you from afar, from our work in NGLCC, and I just love all the work that you're doing. So today, I really want to talk about, especially in these changing times, what inspired you to start BE the Transformational Change after you started Integrity Staffing?
Gosh, that's a great question. What really inspired me, it happened long after I started Integrity with my partner. I think, 25 years later. Mm-hmm. And always through the work that we did at Integrity, it was always about generating opportunities for people to exceed their own expectations. That was just in our DNA as an organization. About 3 years ago, one of my dear friends, who is a transgender woman, she was walking into a place of business that she was going to work for the day, and happened to be she's a performer, and it was a drag brunch, and there was a row of Nazis. No kidding, with swastikas, the whole 9 yards, standing and blocking the entrance of the building. And I get this phone call. And you know when someone's afraid, you've ever had anyone call you and you could just hear the fear in their voice, and I could hear the fear in her voice. And I said, "What's wrong?" And she said, "I'm terrified. I'm terrified." And I said, "Just walk by, go in." And she said, they're shooting swastikas into the building. And I said, "You're going to be okay." And when I hung up that phone, I decided, it's a time in the business where I have really good leadership. I need to do something. I'm not going to make a huge difference, but you know what? I need to speak up about what's happening. And we then, from that became the inspiration for forming BE the Transformational Change Fund, our mission is to remove employment barriers, create solutions to homelessness and other social injustices for the LGBTQI plus AI plus community. So that's really how it started. It was a spark, and I think those sparks are how other people probably are inspired to start things similar to BTTC.
Absolutely. And it is such, when you look at the website, it's so rich. It's beautiful. It is welcoming. It is joyful. And what I find as I go through it, I'm learning more. Like I know from some of the programs that you have, we have a common friend, Ashley Brundage, who has also been a guest in I believe our season 1. And what I find is when I meet trans people, the stories, they're so moving and they're so courageous. And I feel they have far more courage to enter into the changes in their life than people really understand.
Yeah.
And so from when I look at your website, I feel that it's a way for people to get educated. Absolutely, the people that want to be educated, because we know there's people that don't.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So both of our companies are in the staffing industry, and we have diverse workforces because all people work. So why is diversity, equity, and inclusion an important component for a rich workforce?
You know, I think, can you imagine if I said that it wasn't? I mean, I can't even imagine not thinking that it's an important component to a rich workforce because, you know, diversity of thought, diversity of experience, diversity of opinion is what makes for strong solutions, is what creates strong environments. It's what built this country.
Yes.
And so I think to me, there's nothing more important than bringing diversity into the room when you're a business.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, especially this year, we hear the term diversity, equity, inclusion with more negative ideas and thoughts and opinions. And I think what people are missing is the word diversity, how diversity of thought is so important. You know, diversity of ideas. And you've mentioned some. It's not just about gender, religion, sexual identity, skin color. It's ideas. And when we make that word negative, we are really harming our workforce, and we're harming global business. So I stand by diversity. I know you do too, because it's so much bigger than what we read about in the media.
Yeah, I think there's, you know, the thought that by bringing diversity into your workforce means that you're not hiring the best,
right,
or you're not bringing in the best.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not quite sure where that conversation started, but it's just not accurate.
Correct.
You know, it doesn't mean that you're not bringing in the best. To me, it really means that you're doing the best service for your customers, the best service for your internal workforce, the best service for whatever your product is that you're trying to create. So at the end of the day, you are delivering the best.
Yeah. And small businesses, we don't have the time or the money to not hire the best.
Right.
And small businesses are the backbone of American business. So when I think about everything that I've heard, whether it's DEI, affirmative action, I think to myself, we have always hired the best based on their qualifications and what the job requires. I don't understand how it's gotten to the other opinion. I mean, I know some of it, but isn't it smart business, and isn't it logical that you hire only the best? Who has money to waste to do anything other?
Bingo. Can I give a quick example of something
Please.
That's going on in our organization right now? So we have, there's a lot of change going on in the world through just artificial intelligence, and just the pace of change is so fast. So we created a internal work group in our organization called Vision X. And Vision X is, it's really focused on what are the disruptors of the future. Now, my point is that in building this group, we're doing 6-month rotations of 6 to 8 people. Mm-hmm. And we're purposely choosing folks who are in different work groups in the organization. Why? Because if we chose only leaders, we would be getting one perspective. If we chose only those in sales, we'd be getting another perspective. So we absolutely need diversity, yes, right, in that work group to make this work. It's no different. And I think that's so missing in this conversation. If folks move away from true diversity of thought, of process, of experience, they literally will miss out on staying in front of the important changes that are coming fast and furiously in our country and in the world.
Mm-hmm. And even as far as extrovert and introvert is diverse. And what I learned early on in leadership, that oftentimes the quietest person in the room often has some of the most powerful ideas. It's not just the people who are out in front or who are the loudest. So, right there, just being introverted or extroverted, that's diversity.
Exactly.
So I love what you're doing with that, because it's so true. The best way to get a true read of the pulse in any organization is when you bring people together from different aspects, because not everybody necessarily knows exactly what the other work group is doing, doesn't understand what the problems are, or they're a little bit more objective to offer solution because they're not in the thick of the soup.
Mm-hmm.
But I love it. I absolutely love it. So how does your organization handle the inequities that are focused on the LGBTQIA community?
Well, I think by education is one thing. We in our organization we have a publication that comes out each month, and it literally is focused on diversity, just the differences. And we tell the stories of different employees, so from diverse backgrounds. By doing that, by educating folks on life experiences, you can't imagine how often you'll hear someone say, I never realized that. There's a lot of folks who have no idea that in some of the states across our country, you can still lose your job just because you come out or you're found to be gay. That can still happen. And it still surprises me how many people just aren't aware of it. And so in our organization, education is one. I think if we empower others with knowledge and with good information, I find that good people,
yes,
right, they then use that information in a way that moves things forward. I think that anyone who would hear that and who really believes in fairness would say, that just doesn't feel right.
Yeah. And,
so education is one important way that we do that.
And you stay close to your workforce. I know over the past couple of years, when there have been changes in laws that impact people, I have reached out to our workforce across the country, and I know you have employees across the country too, and basically just ask, what do you need from us? How can we support you? We're here to listen. Not that we can solve it, but we're here to listen. And that in itself made a really big difference. Just the fact that we reached out to say, okay, does this change in the law impact you? How does it impact you? And it was amazing the feedback we received, simply because, like you, we cared. We cared to ask the question, not just go to work, do whatever you do, but we cared to know to ask, how did that impact your soul? How did it impact your family? Mm-hmm. And I know you're like that too. And that's education.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's moving between organizations, our integrity organization, the staffing, and then the nonprofit, which are two separate organizations. They operate separately, of course. BTTC did a survey. We've done it 2 years in a row now, called the Shine the Light Survey, and it's represents the beliefs or the experiences of the LGBTQIA plus workforce across the United States. And it's very, very deep survey. We had over 1,000 respondents this year. In last year's report, not over 1,000. We were about 960, but close enough. And so we got a really interesting feedback. And when you, if your listeners have a chance to download that survey, it gives a really interesting perspective. Just as simple as understanding what what workers that are in the LGBTQIA plus community feel like when they are in a room and folks are talking about their weekend with their significant other. How comfortable do they feel about talking about their life, right? And what that reality is. And I think, again, talking about education, that's a great survey for business owners, HR executives, leaders to look at, to educate themselves and understand what might be happening in their own environment, to create questions for them to ask about how can we improve? How can we make this better for everyone?
So, especially this year, what have you seen as a result of BE the Transformational Change? What have you seen shift within the community or even allyship as a result of what you offer?
So from the participant or the people we serve, right, the community, we hear there's a lot of fear because there's a lot of misinformation, right? And so right now we're trying to combat bad information, right? And so again, that goes to education. From the ally perspective, it's also fear.
Yeah.
Will help, but please don't put our logo out on materials that we might be sponsoring or supporting, because of concerns regarding retaliation or something, you know, and those may be unfounded, but they're real. We're hearing that, right? We're hearing those fears. Hopefully that's none of that will ever come to fruition, but it's real for folks, and we're seeing folks pull back on sponsoring or donating to certain things rather than others. So we're just seeing a change, and with that change, we're trying to just continue to move forward and find out what people need. Right. What do people need? And so one of the things that we're working on right now is, it's difficult for folks to find the facts, right? To find, well, this law is coming out. Is it really law right now?
Yes.
Does it really change something for me right now? Do I have to live in fear of this? And so really getting information out to people is something that we're working hard on.
Do you, and I hope you don't mind me asking, are there certain places where people can go where your team finds facts versus the misinformation?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. There's a couple, really, really great. I mean, you have the Williams Institute, you have the Trevor Project, you have the GLAAD is another great resource. But not all of them capture everything. Right. Correct. And that's the challenge. And so we're really trying to solve the challenge of how do you pull together all that great information and keep it real and timely enough, because Google isn't even fast enough to keep up with the pace of some of these legislative changes. Right. Mm-hmm. And so if someone's out there Googling something, they're getting yesterday's news. Right. And that's a challenge. Right now, in particular, the word came out that, oh, guess what? You now can get your gender marker on your passport. That's changed. Well, not really. It's still on pause, because while a ruling came down on that, the people who are processing the passports haven't been given that instruction. So a lot of folks turned in their passports based on that knowledge that ruling came down. Yeah. And now they're sitting in limbo without a passport and unable to travel. So that's why this is such a critical thing, I believe.
Oh, it is. And so some of the things I hear from people are, I didn't know. It's not my fault. And then I'll ask, where are you getting your news from? So I'll listen. And part of it is encouraging people, going back to educating people, where to go get the facts. Because, look, misinformation and propaganda has been here for probably as forever. And it's right. And it's really, we all have opinions. We all like to read things that fill what we like. But the truth is we have to go find the facts, and we have to understand, especially with changes in laws, exactly how that impacts myself, my professional life, my family, you could go down the list. And so I have to be really encouraging when to move people towards, look over here. I'm not telling you have to accept what's over here, but look over here so you can get the entire picture.
Yeah, and I'm also want to look over there, right? And I think that's such great advice is look over here, you know, and you know, take a look. You know, there's always, again, diversity of perspective.
Yes.
Right, is important, and listening and being open to learning something new.
Yes, and I've gone to look at some of the news sites that I wouldn't normally agree on, to look at what are they saying, and I have had people on different sides come to me and ask me questions when it comes to the LGBTQ plus community. And I'll say, where did you get your news from? Okay, given I'm part of the community, that's absolutely not true. So you can believe that, but here I am, and let me tell you what the fact is and what's the truth. And, you know, sometimes I'll get people like, oh, I never thought about it that way. That's what you want to hear. And then once in a while I'll get some, no, that's not true. Like, okay, believe what you'd like. Okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's okay. In some ways it's not, but it has to be.
Understood.
You know,
it
has to be.
Yeah,
and
agreed.
I have certainly been mindful where I put my energy now to fighting. I'm more towards, let's participate in the good fight. Let's come from it with energy that we want to see more people have. And believe me, do I get upset? Sure. I'm sure you do. To anybody that feels people are being attacked unfairly gets upset about what we see going on. So we have to advocate, and because I'm kind of seeing that certain ways to fight just don't work. Because what we want to do is we want to open people's hearts. We want to open people's minds and give people choice.
That word advocate, I think, is so important. You know, it's one of our core values in our organization is advocate for our associate success. And advocating looks so many different ways, but it's so important to us to empower our workforce to advocate for our employees who are working across the multitude of different environments that may have, different levels of expertise. And so if we're standing and advocating for our employees and for our workforce and for other human beings, it's just a natural way to I think, be a good human. That's it.
Love thy neighbor as thyself.
There you go.
That's it. So, in your opinion, how can workforces in general support the empowerment and thriving of the trans community?
So the feedback that we get a lot is that the challenge is there's a couple challenges, right? And again, not being transgender person, it's not my lived experience. So I'm talking about experiences that I've heard, right, from others. So I might not articulate it perfectly, but there's a couple buckets of challenges. One is I'm working, right. We had a person that we were helping out that worked in the state for the government, actually, and she began coming out of starting her transition at work. That's a huge challenge because there needs to be a very strong process that supports that around that person, or it really, really, really is uncomfortable.
Absolutely.
Not just for the person, but for people around, because they may not understand what's happening. They're not educated. Right.
Yes.
And so having some type of process in your organization to facilitate that, support that person through through their transition and help that process is one thing that folks can do. Two, make sure that in your training for your hiring processes, folks understand what fair hiring looks like, right? That what we hear a lot is that once they found out, let's say their gender marker on their ID was different, and so they're going through a process. There are many people that are turned down for jobs once they find out that they're transgender, which can be a horrible experience.
It is,
right? It's a horrible experience. And so ensuring that your hiring staff understands that that's not the right thing to do.
And focus, right. And if we're focused on in any organization, hiring the best people,
right,
the gender marker should not matter.
The gender marker shouldn't matter. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. And so one of the things that we're trying to work on is having employers, if more employers identified themselves as, hey, and I hate to say it because everybody should, in reality, everyone based on our laws should be welcome everywhere, right?
Yes.
But if you're an employer who is a true ally and supports folks of all walks of life, let people know that somehow what we're working at VTTC is coming up with a way to let employers know, hey, let people know that you are welcoming, that you're accepting, promote that.
Yes.
So that people feel safe applying. Because I think right now, if I were coming from that experience, I'd be terrified to apply for a job.
I know.
Especially in certain states, I'd be terrified. And so I think there's a lot of work we need to do. And, but starting with just putting your hand up and saying, hey, come here, come here. You're welcome here.
Yes.
Is a big start because, there's a lot of talent out there that is really desperate for work and struggling to find it.
And you just said it, talent. Mm-hmm. Over the past couple of years, I had an employee, this one particular situation, I had an employee come to me and knew that there was a couple of people on the team that were trans. So this person just asked me, because they knew I was LGBT, and just asked me, I just want to understand. Uh-huh. And I so appreciated the conversation because that person was not part of the community. And he just wanted to know. He asked me, I said, so ask me a couple questions. And he goes, all right, I never thought about it that way. Okay, I didn't know that. I said, great. That's exactly what I want, is for people just to come and ask me, because I can help guide you through it. And that's really what I continue, and I know you do too, is to promote that across our workforces. Just ask some questions. It's okay to ask so you can get the understanding.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah. So as we bring our conversation to close, tell me, with both of your organizations, what are you proud of the most for those organizations?
I think for the Integrity organization, we are 27, 28 years, I think 27, 28 years. We're getting there. And just the number of people that have been in my team for 20 plus of those years. And, I've now, in fact, you introduced me as the CEO. I have just recently stepped into the role of chairman, and I promoted Jamie Donnelly, who has been with us for a very long time, into the role of CEO. That's been, her goal, and it was time for her to step into that role. And as chairman, I'm focused on the Vision X program. But I think I'm most proud of seeing people develop and create lives that they possibly didn't imagine. That's just a beautiful thing as a leader, to see people succeed. I think that's what I'm most proud of. I'm most proud of creating programs like Project Home, where we really, really walk our talk about advocating for associates. On the BTTC side, I think I'm most proud of, first of all, starting a nonprofit, which is a lot of work. Boy, do we make it difficult in this country to do good.
Yes.
We make it really, really difficult. I think I'm most proud of launching from BTTC. We had our first Miss International Queen competition, which is a pageant with a purpose. We had 25 contestants in Las Vegas. It was just an amazing event. The feedback from all of our contestants was that it was a series of workshops throughout the course of the week and learning and education. And at the end of the week, folks felt elevated. And I believe that if we shift the narrative and we give folks another way to see how many these are amazing people.
Yes.
And we put them in the limelight for just one moment, that perhaps if we can change one mind, if we can shift one narrative. And I feel that we did that this year. This year we'll be in Atlantic City, New Jersey at Harrah's. So awesome. We're putting that program together, and we're really excited about it. If we can shift one mind at a time, that's okay with me, because all of those people are going to want to shift minds too. Yeah, so absolutely. That's what I'm most proud of with BTTC. And we're going to do it with love. We're going to do it with caring. We're going to do it with communication, and with, sharing a new perspective for people. That's what I'm most proud of.
Well, that is absolutely beautiful. And we share the same concept about how to make change through love. So I am just really honored to have this conversation. I am so grateful that we're in a similar industry with the same approach. So, Todd, how can people get in touch with you or either one of your organizations? Because I want people to know out there that working for Integrity Staffing is just that, a place of integrity, and Be the Transformational Change is life-affirming and changing. So how can people find you?
Yeah, well, you can always find me personally on LinkedIn. I'm easy to find on LinkedIn. Send me a message on LinkedIn. For the Integrity Staffing Organization, we have a great communication device on our website. So whatever it is you're looking for, you can easily find someone to communicate or speak to. Just go to www.integritystaffing.com. For Be the Transformational Change, we are on Facebook, on Instagram, and we have a website. Facebook and Instagram are at Be the Transformational Change, and our website is bethetransformationalchange.org. And that's how folks can find us.
Wonderful. Well, Todd, thank you so much for our conversation today. And to all the listeners out there, please look at both of Todd's websites, get more informed, educated, and reach out to us if you have any questions, and know that you all are loved and cared for. So thank you so much.
Thanks for the conversation.
Absolutely.
Thanks for listening to Room at the Table. If you've enjoyed this episode, follow us on your favorite listening platform and share this episode with a colleague or two or three. For resources to help you lead with purpose and build more equitable workplaces, visit roomatthetablepodcast.com.